Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode. In today's podcast, we'll dive into a topic that a lot of English learners struggle with: speaking English confidently. It's common to understand English well, but feel nervous or unsure when it comes to speaking. But don't worry. Today, we'll discuss some great tips and techniques to improve your speaking skills. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you never miss an episode. If you're following along, check out the PDF in the description for today's episode. It includes all the key points and additional practice exercises to help you improve your English. Now, let's jump into today's topic.
When I try to speak English, my mind just freezes. I understand the words, but when it's time to say them, they just disappear.
I know how you feel, James. I had the same problem when I started learning Spanish. Speaking feels so different from just listening or reading. What do you think makes it so hard for you?
Well, I think it's a mix of things. First, I'm afraid of making mistakes. What if I say the wrong thing? What if people laugh at me?
That's a common fear, but think about it this way. Making mistakes is how we learn. Nobody speaks perfectly in the beginning. Do you remember how you learned to ride a bike?
Oh, I fell so many times before I got it right.
Exactly. Speaking is the same. You might fall a few times, but each mistake helps you improve.
That makes sense. But I also feel like I don't have enough words to say what I want.
That's normal too. Speaking isn't just about knowing words. It's about using what you already know. Even simple sentences can express big ideas.
Like what?
Let's say you want to talk about your day, but you don't know the word for gym. You could say, I went to a place where I exercise. It's not perfect, but it works.
Oh, I never thought about it like that. One thing that really frustrates me is not having someone to practice speaking with. How can I improve my speaking if I don't have a partner?
I used to have the same problem, James. When I didn't have a partner, I found other ways to practice. Let me share some ideas with you.
Please do.
First, talk to yourself. I know it sounds strange, but it's very effective.
What do you mean by talk to yourself?
Describe what you're doing throughout the day. For example, if you're making coffee, say, I'm boiling water, or I'm adding sugar.
But what if I don't know the right words?
That's okay. Use the words you know, and if you need to, look up the new words later. The goal is to get comfortable forming sentences.
I guess that's doable. What else can I try?
You can also imagine conversations. Pretend you're talking to someone. Ask yourself questions like, what do you want to eat? And then answer, I want pizza.
Oh, like role-playing. That could work.
James, have you ever heard of the shadowing technique?
I think I've heard of it, but I'm not sure how it works exactly.
It's a simple but powerful method. Shadowing means listening to someone speak in English and repeating exactly what they say, trying to match their rhythm, pronunciation, and intonation.
Oh, so it's like mimicking their voice?
Exactly. You follow the speaker like a shadow, repeating their words right after they say them. It's great for improving pronunciation and fluency.
That sounds interesting, but is it difficult?
It can be at first, especially if the speaker talks fast, but it gets easier with practice. You just need to start slow and build up.
How do I know if I'm doing it right?
Good question. To start, choose a short clip from a movie, podcast, or interview. Play it a few times before you start shadowing. Then, listen carefully and repeat what the speaker says, focusing on their tone and rhythm.
So I should focus on how they say things, not just the words.
Yes, exactly. The goal is to sound more natural, not just to get the words right. For example, if someone says, I love it in an excited tone, you want to copy that energy and expression.
Ah, I see. So it's not just about the words. It's about how you say them.
Right. And don't worry if you can't match the speaker perfectly at first. The more you practice, the better you'll get.
How long should I practice shadowing each day?
I recommend starting with 5 to 10 minutes a day. It's more about consistency than the length of time. Even short sessions, if done regularly, will make a big difference.
5 to 10 minutes doesn't sound too bad. But should I shadow the same clip every time?
You can, especially if you want to master that specific clip, but eventually try to shadow different materials, varied speakers, and topics. This will help you get used to different accents and speech patterns.
I guess that's important because everyone speaks a little differently, right?
Exactly. If you stick to one speaker, you might get comfortable with their style, but you'll miss out on other accents, slang, or speaking speeds.
Do you have any tips for when I'm shadowing? Any common mistakes I should avoid?
One mistake is focusing too much on the words and not enough on the sound. Remember, shadowing is about sounding natural, so don't stress if you don't understand every word. Just keep trying to match the tone and flow.
Got it. What else should I be careful about?
Another thing is not pausing too much. If you pause too long between sentences, you'll lose the rhythm. Try to repeat right after the speaker finishes each sentence. If they speak too fast, pause the clip, practice, and then try again.
That makes sense. I'll try to keep up without overthinking.
Exactly. And remember, if you make mistakes, it's fine. Shadowing is about repetition, and over time, you'll get more comfortable. Another thing is to record yourself.
Record myself? That sounds embarrassing.
It might feel that way at first, but it's very helpful. You can listen to how you sound and find areas to improve. Plus, you'll get used to hearing your own voice in English.
I could try that. What should I talk about?
Anything, you can talk about your day, describe your favorite movie, or even read a short story out loud.
Reading out loud. That's interesting.
It helps with pronunciation and fluency. If you read a book or an article, you're practicing speaking even if you're alone.
But Emma, what if I still feel stuck?
Then create a daily speaking routine. Set aside 10 minutes every day to speak out loud. It could be anything, describing your plans, talking about the weather, or practicing introductions.
That sounds manageable.
Consistency is key. The more you practice, the easier it gets.
Okay, but let's say I want to push myself more. What else can I do?
Write a diary in English and then read it out loud. It combines writing, thinking, and speaking.
That's a great idea. Do you have any other tips?
Yes, use technology. You can practice with AI tools. For example, ask questions or respond to prompts. It's not the same as talking to a person, but it's still speaking practice.
Have you tried that before?
I have. It's helpful when you don't have anyone to talk to.
I might give it a shot.
Also, try watching videos with subtitles. Read along and then practice saying the lines yourself.
It's like I'm training my brain and mouth together.
Exactly. You're building muscle memory for speaking. And that's all for today's episode. We've covered a lot of helpful tips for improving your speaking skills, from practicing with shadowing to finding speaking partners. Remember, learning a language is a journey, and progress takes time. The more you practice, the more confident you'll become. Thanks for joining us today, and I'll see you in the next episode. Keep practicing and stay confident in your language learning journey.